Hey there, everyone. Before we get into the show, I want to talk about a sponsor, and that sponsor is Care Of. And I know you're sitting there thinking, what is this beautiful black man talking about taking care of? Take care of your body, bitch. Care Of is a wellness brand that makes it easy to maintain your health goals with a customized vitamin plan that helps you feel your best today and supports you long term. All of Care Of's products are formulated with a good-for-you, clean ingredients that are backed by science. Care Of is super transparent about the research and sourcing behind each and every one of their products. Care Of's in-depth 5-minute online quiz asks you questions about your diet, lifestyle, and health concerns to help you address your specific wellness goals. As the seasons change, it's important to get ahead and take care of your immune health. It takes about 30 days for your body to adapt to new nutrients. So now is a great time to update your vitamin plan and your wellness routine to help support your immune system this fall and winter. Personally, I use Care Of, and the vitamins I take help me maintain my physique and do better and push my body better. And also, I have one to sleep better. It's lit, it's alive, it's all the things the kids say that are being cool. For 50% off your first Care Of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code ISA50. Again, that's takecareof.com and enter ISA50 for 50% off. And that'll be all in the show notes too. So let's get right to the show. Hey, I'm Avatar Kyoshi. Make that ass clap.
Oh no.
I've been rereading all of her books, man. They're great.
I still need to read them. I don't know. I guess this week I'm the ghost of not buying Christmas presents on time ever.
Oh, say. I just bought mines last week.
I got a few ship dates that are a little bit past when I need them, so we'll see how it plays out.
I bought my best pie show board. Because he's also like a huge Avatar nerd.
Oh, I remember. I saw a photo of that. That looked so sick.
I can't wait for it. But hey, welcome back to Bros of Murder. We don't normally talk about Avatar Last Airbender a lot.
It's a shame.
I mean, we'll make a separate cast. Bruh is an Avatar. It's gonna just be deep Avatar dives every day. But those dulcet tones you're hearing right now aren't your normal dulcet tones of battle, because he has a gross ear infection.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. I do hate to see it, because he kept.
No, truly, yeah.
He kept asking me like, "Do you all want to see it?" I'm like, I don't.
No.
The last thing I want to see is an affected ear.
Good.
So yeah, he's on bed rest recovering. So we have a dearest friend Robert stepping in.
Hey.
To read his sad boy murder case.
Very sad boy.
You got hit hard.
Yeah, I was not ready for what battle prepared.
No, second episode coming out strong, Robert.
Oh yeah.
So I'll just start with mine, because
yeah, sure thing.
Mine ties into like a serial killer case that we did like forever ago, and it's like, he admitted to a murder that helped vindicate somebody else who just got fucked over by the system. It's a weird, like,
hey, that's not too bad though.
Yeah, it's not so bad, but it's like, I'll just get into it. So, a convicted murderer who may be the most prolific serial killer in American history has admitted to killing one of the many murders that was penned on a mentally challenged black man who psychologists say has the mental capacity of an 8-year-old child.
not exactly the kind of person you go to immediately.
No.
You would think in an actual investigation.
Yeah, you'd think you'd be able to weed out if he did it or not real easily. Yeah. So now Sam Little currently confessed to about 80 killings, but there's projected to be around 90 or so because he's been like buffing up his numbers and like playing down some of this stuff. And people have spent the last couple years, he has spent the last couple years helping investigators close cold cases that he's been involved in because he's done so many. So his time behind bar has been spent admitting to crimes and helping bring, and to give you like a brief, what's the word I'm looking for? Synapse on his like motive apparatus is he would strangle women and sex workers. And he did it over 14 different states across the country between 1970 and 2005. So he had a real long lifespan for his shit.
Right. Well, and if you're going to hit close to 100 people, like you have to spread that out.
Yeah. You can't just, He wasn't spree killing it.
Yeah.
And he targeted mainly women of color and sex workers due to how America really just perceives women of color and sex workers. They don't dig that deep into their murders, as we can see in this case, because they did dig that deep into it.
Was able to take 90 people, disappear them, and no one caught him.
Over years, decades. So now, one of Little's recent confessions is to a Florida murder that led to the shocking yet tragically common wrongful conviction of Jerry Frank Townsend, who is a black man with an IQ of 58. So now, Jerry Frank Townsend suffers from mental disabilities with the mental capacity of an 8-year-old child, which was not taken into account when he was convicted of 6 murders and 1 rape and sentenced to 7 consecutive life sentences. So now, in 1979, Townsend was arrested for raping a young pregnant woman in Florida. During the investigation, he was coerced to confess to other murders that happened in the area too. Mm-hmm. The confessions were a consequence to just him having the mental capacity of an 8-year-old and wanting to like appease authorities, get out the situation, like.
Right. I mean, we've heard of that before. Of cops come in the room, they have somebody who will admit to anything, and they just get to close a bunch of cold cases.
It happened with Netflix show Stephen Avery. Didn't his nephew was like coerced because he was like.
I believe so.
It happens way too fucking often. And that's the issue. It's not the police work. So they were able to have him confess to 6 murders and a rape. So now police took Townsend to the murder scenes and recorded his confessions at the murder scenes. In 1998, Townsend was convicted of first-degree murder for the 1973 killings of Naomi, Barbara, and another woman that they didn't name in Downward County, which is like around the area of Miami. Not only did Townsend confess to these 2 murders, but he also confessed to the murders of a 13-year-old girl back in 1979, and then in 1982, he pled guilty to 2 more murders that happened. That he was just stacking bodies that he didn't have.
Yeah. Especially with a person with a diminished mental capacity like that, you would think that if you truly thought this person committed these crimes and you were like a member of the family of someone who was murdered that way, you would like try to connect the dots somehow. Like, how is he in this area?
What's his motive? Why would he do it? How did he get away with it? If he has the mental capacity of an 8-year-old and an IQ of 58, how was he able to get away with 6 murders without getting caught?
Yeah. Man.
It took.
That's like just so sloppy.
Yeah, it's just sloppy as shit. So eventually Townsend was cleared by DNA evidence, and this is also followed by the Innocence Project. Mm-hmm. They had their own hands in it, and the Innocence Project is amazing. Like, they've been exonerating so many people of color who've been wrongfully convicted of crimes. It's insane. So he was cleared by DNA evidence following the actions in 1998, when the mother of the 13-year-old girl who was killed reviewed the case and saw that shit was fucked up. Because in 2010, the DNA testing of the semen samples on the child's shorts wasn't his DNA. It was another man's DNA. So her seeing that, going over it, that raised the what the fuck flag in her head, thinking that, hey, I think you got the wrong guy. So now the DNA evidence cleared Townsend for 2 of the 6 murders. The evidence pointed towards a man named Eddie Lee Moisley, and then casted a bunch of doubt on the accuracy of all the other confessions. It's like, that brought it to light to everybody that, hey, maybe we all goofed on this one.
Well, I mean, if you have someone like, clearly shouldn't be represented alone, admit to all of these murders, and then you find anything wrong with any of them, that whole thing needs to be retried.
And the fact that he didn't have representation from the beginning,
yeah,
really just showed that they just wanted to close these cases. They wanted someone to pin it on. They found him. They just threw the book at him. So now, without, any actual evidence to linking him to, because there was no actual DNA evidence or any other type of evidence linking him to those murders, they started getting thrown out. One by one, they started getting closed. Now, the man who did the initial murder, Mosley, I just want to add this in, 'cause I looked it up. I was just curious to see if he ever got convicted or was alive. He actually died in prison of COVID-19 back in May.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so COVID got somebody good.
Poignant. Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, so he wasn't able to get convicted for any of these crimes. He was already in jail, died of COVID. Rona got somebody good. So now another murder was still being pinned on him, and that was of Dorothy Gibson, who he also was talking to confessing. Now this goes back to Sam Little, because Sam Little has been confessing to all these different crimes and closing cases. He recently admitted to killing a woman named Dorothy Gibson. Same woman. 17-year-old girl who was found dead outside of a motel in Miami. Now, Little said that he ran into Gibson. She was a runaway child, black girl. No one was really looking for her. No one gave a shit. So he arranged to have sex with her, offered her money for it. And after they had sex, he said that he refused to pay her. She got upset, and that's when he strangled her and killed her. He claimed to kill her, and he just threw her body out in the bushes out front and went about his day. Which again kind of shows the fact that you weren't digging that deep into her murder.
Yeah.
She was just thrown in a bush. You couldn't figure out what the fuck happened.
Bro, that's so sick. Well, and so he was originally brought in on rape charges when he made all these confessions, right?
The first one was a rape charge, yeah.
But then he was later exonerated from that rape with DNA evidence, right?
It was that rape, and then 2 more others he got knocked off for DNA evidence. Because they never really had anything other than his confessions. They didn't have anything that linked him to these crimes.
In court, isn't there the law of fruit of the poisonous tree or whatever it's called? If your evidence comes from an ill-gotten source, it's no good.
Robert,
you brought him in on fake charges. How can you charge him for anything?
This is 1970 in Florida.
Yeah,
you're asking too much.
Yeah.
You're asking far too much. So, now that's all out in the open. Everyone knows that now. And in April 2001, Townsend was cleared of those killings too. He was cleared of that killing, the 2 other ones that were still on him, and eventually by 2001, he was cleared of all of his cases that he brought against him.
Man.
Every single last one.
How many years in prison was that?
22.
Oh my god.
He spent 22 years in prison and got out at the age of 49. His case to date is the most high-profile wrongful conviction that Florida has ever seen, ever. They did file a civil lawsuit, and he guess how much he got.
I want to say $22 million. Give me $1 million for every year.
You ain't getting that lucky.
$30,000.
He got 4.2 million.
It's still
it's not enough
for 22 years.
22 of them years, getting out of 49.
No,
I would be coming for everybody's fucking head.
Are you kidding me?
And Little also, after this, Little kept confessing to more murders. He recently confessed to the murder of a nurse named Karen, whose body was never discovered, actually. And that's the most recent one he confessed to, and he's still going to keep confessing. And hopefully his confessions will exonerate some more people that were wrongfully convicted. Because with 90 bodies under him, I'm pretty sure more than one person got blamed for his crimes. Let's be honest.
Well, and I just hope that the police work that they're doing on those confessions now, they're going through a few steps of confirmation, so that
just phone a friend, say, hey, does this sound sus to you?
Yeah, right. Give me a little bit of detail about the case so I can know it was you. And
you think I got this right? It's like they were just shooting blindly, honestly.
Dude.
It's the 70s. What do you fucking expect?
It's the 70s.
But yeah, so that was my case on Jeremy and Sam Little. Weird crossing of roads between a murderer and someone who's the exact opposite of a murderer.
Yeah, a totally innocent. That's terrible. Okay, are you ready?
Well, actually, before we do that, we're going to take a small break. Okay, and we're back.
Okay, now are you ready? So, just a heads up, this one's pretty heavy, and it's pretty sad. It was kind of a bummer to read about. But
sorry, I ruined your day.
So this was...
Blame Battle.
Yeah, for real. I'm going to have to send him some words. This was multiple murders that were perpetrated by Zakieya Latrice Avery. It's a 28-year-old Zakieya Latrice Avery. It involves demonic possession, heavy religious thought, child abandonment, and murder. So the following events took place in Germantown. Oh, yeah, she was just going for it. It was in Germantown, Montgomery County, Maryland. So the events, again, very grim. If you've got children, might be one to skip over.
Gold star.
Yeah, for real. So, again, it was one of those cases where all of her family and neighbors were like, oh, she was a very caring woman. I don't know what happened. I could never imagine she would hurt her own children. So that is also one of the things that leads us to believe that there may have been a mental break involved with this, some sort of psychotic episode. So Avery didn't work alone. She was working in conjunction with her roommate, Manifa Sanford, who was an accomplice to her murders. So admittedly, Avery said that she was the head of a cult that assassinates demons. So
wait, isn't there a book
she believed
called, Demon Hunter Society? What am I thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure I heard about this before.
So January 17th, 2014, Avery and Sanford decided to commit the unthinkable. Both women believed that they could physically see their children's eyes, or Avery's children's eyes, turn black, and that they had a black cloud hovering over them, which indicated to them that they were possessed, and that they had to put on the armor of God and exorcise the spirits from their 1-year-old child.
Jesus Christ.
Which, I'm not an expert in exorcism or anything, but
demonology.
I don't imagine demons are looking for infants, Yeah,
because I was thinking that too. I was like, when it comes to, you want to get someone who can do some shit,
At least, walk around.
At least, in The Omen, the kid was, had some rich parents.
So, again, they noticed that there was, this cloud and their eyes had turned black. They believed that the youngest child, which again, who was 1 year old, had a demon jump inside of them. So naturally, being demon hunters or demon assassins, they decided that they were going to have to choke the devil out of them. She told her roommate to grab a Bible and, again, put on the armor of God. And according to the New York Daily News, the child was strangled as Avery tried to snap their neck. This was unsuccessful, so they had to switch to using knives.
Jesus Christ.
They ended up stabbing the youngest child to death. And all of this was done while they were speaking in tongues, attempting to carry out the exorcism. The child's cause of death was a 5-inch deep stab wound, which pierced their lung, diaphragm, liver, and stomach. And so according to the two murderers, they saw the demon cloud leave that first child and then begin to hover over another one of Avery's 4 children. The other child was 2 years old, and was murdered in the exact same fashion. The woman saw that this child began to like kind of grunt and growl as they were exorcising the child, which
murdered.
just further led into their dementia about this. But, again, child was being stabbed. You would expect it to make some sort of...
a noise.
Yeah. So they stabbed the 2-year-old 13 times, and with such force that he had exit wounds in the back. Which is a really heavy thing to think about. So according to WJLA, the other siblings, because there was 4 in total, ages 4 and 8, began screaming, and one of them would put up a fight, which eventually led to them being punched in the face and stabbed in the chest as well. The other was choked unconscious and stabbed in the chest. So all 4 of the children were stabbed. Only 2 regrettably passed, and the other 2 were taken into intensive care once authorities got involved. So Sanford, which was the roommate of Avery, was eventually attacked herself as she was kind of cleaning the knives.
Well, look at that.
Turned on each other.
Yeah, well, shit, but now you a demon too.
Yep.
See how that plays out?
You can't trust the person who starts to see demons, because eventually they're going to see it in you.
Yeah, it'd be your own people sometimes, honestly.
Oh, no. So how the cops were eventually called. They were called twice. So the day before, one of the neighbors noticed that one of Avery's children was left in their car. And the neighbor called up and was like, hey, can you come check on this, baby that's sitting in a car unattended? So the cops came through, and at that point, someone inside had moved the child in, and there was no baby in the car. So the cops knocked on the door, no one answered the door, and they said, okay, resolved itself, we're out of here. They left, and then, so fast forward to the next morning, one of their neighbors was taking their child to school, and they saw there was a car door that was open, and on the floor, or on the ground in front of the car, there appeared to be a bloody knife. And they said, I think I remember hearing some, commotion last night. I thought it was just, kids roughhousing or something. But, that looks like a bloody knife to me. Calls the cops. That time, the cops had, some actionable information. They came on the crime scene. So Avery attempted to flee, but was, caught almost immediately. Same day they were arrested. Both of them were arrested. The 2 children were brought to the ICU. Their father of the 4 children was estranged at the time, living in Los Angeles, and he was brought in to take care of the surviving 2 children. So both children were pronounced dead at the scene that did pass away. The anonymous siblings were then taken to the hospital, yep. Avery pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 accounts of attempted first-degree murder, and was sentenced to 4 life sentences, consecutive life sentences. Yeah, so Sanford, the accomplice, pled guilty to 2 accounts of first-degree murder, 2 accounts of first attempted first-degree murder. Under a plea agreement, she was not found criminally responsible and was ultimately put in a psychiatric hospital for an undetermined amount of time.
Now, see, here's my... it's... So were they both just in, psychosis, I guess? They both
sometimes there are, cases of, people's, mania feeding into each other, and, you have 2, mentally unwell people living together. I could see them, hyping each other up, getting paranoid. Apparently they both went to the same church, a local church in the area, and they were, very religious people.
Maybe we should investigate that church, too.
Yeah, maybe they're planting seeds about that.
Yeah, you got demon hunters running around and shit. What the fuck are you guys telling them?
So that is the horribly sad double murder that was committed by Zakieya, Latrice, Avery, and Munifa Sanford. Tragic story, kids taken way too soon. 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's some dark shit. And what scares me the most is, remember when you were a kid and you saw your parents fight? And how'd you feel? Now imagine being a kid, hearing your brother and sister get attacked by your mom.
Right. Well, those kids that survived were 4 and 8.
Yeah.
They are.
You don't even know what's going on.
I can remember stuff from when I was 8 years old. That is going to be a lifetime of coping, and I just hope that they're getting some sort of counseling or psychiatric care.
You could only hope.
Yeah.
It's god damn, that'll mess you up.
Both stabbed in the chest and survived, which, I'm glad two of them survived. I'm glad somebody survived coming out of this. Other than, Manifa and Zakieya.
Fucking demon slayers. Like, that's just...
Demon hunters. I would hope that, like, anyone in my family, if they thought I was possessed by a demon, they would just be like, okay, you get a pass. Or
your
just
family. Ask me, hey, like, you good, bro?
Yeah. You kind of got some, like, black eyes and a cloud around your head. Like, you been playing with a Ouija board again? What's going on?
Are you good or just depressed?
Oh. Well, and, like, this is the kind of thing you would hear about if, like, maybe the kid got into listening to, like, Marilyn Manson or, like, some sort of demonic behavior. But with infants, there's not much that they can do that would indicate, exorcism.
You just sit there and eat your food and breathe.
Yeah.
And don't pay taxes. I know you babies.
Ultimate innocence.
Ultimate innocence. Speaking of baby, Battle is having a baby.
Yeah.
Lila. Congrats to him. But no, thanks for coming on again. This is a great episode.
Yeah, of course.
And some news for the show. First off, you will be hearing Robert and also Kelly's voice more often. We have them doing like some light voiceover work for some projects we have coming up. And also, we're doing like this big old, not big, but like this thing on Instagram where we just do like a list of like top 5 spooky things that we come up with. So that'll be fun to hear y'all interact with. And you know the role. Check the links below for the merch, the other important links that we have. Go give us a rating and a review. And this next song coming up, listen to that shit, because it's actually from a band that was the first band we ever had on the show. They're coming out with a new album. I did a whole interview with them, so that'll be a little bonus episode for you. And it's gonna show some love. Tower Shower. Some coolest Zoomers from California.
I mean, that sounds like a band on its own.
Zoomers from California. Let's start it.
I mean, yeah, that sounds like some like California Uber Alice like punk. Zoomers, California.
I love it. But I hope everyone has happy, safe holidays. My birthday's coming up. Happy birthday to me. Sag season. We out here. Flash your titties. Bye.
Bye.
It was Halloween in Manhattan. It was Halloween in Manhattan. Vomit line 3rd Avenue. I found $5 on the floor with a new keychain for my one and only key. Then I saw a guy try to kill himself in the street. It was Halloween in Manhattan. It was 2 a.m. in New York. All the boys and girls were drunk, waiting for something cheap to save their everlasting hunger. Save their everlasting hunger. Vomit line 3rd Avenue. I found $5 on the floor with a new keychain for my one and only key. Then I saw a guy try to kill himself in the street. It was Halloween in Manhattan. It was 12 a.m. on my birthday. Everybody singing happy birthday. Elijah wondering why my eyes are so fucking red. So red, so red, so red. it's just my eyes. They're sensitive to all this light.